children have been taken from me.
You need money. Lots of money.
I will find a way.
I absolutely adore the show. You guys did such an incredible job. I have to start off by asking Sarah if you would like to start, and then Ewan, what drew you to the show and made you want to get involved?
Can you imagine? Well, I was drawn by everything. First, to approach to be part of this giant epic story, and I'm very fan of the genre, the peplum. So of course I want to go there. Of course I want to go and work and film in Rome, Cinecittà, history of cinema. Of course I want to work with Roland Emmerich, genius. and then I read the scripts and I fell in love for my character. She is a spectacular woman, intelligent, fierce, the essence of motherhood. So, what else?
Yeah, and then Ewan, what about you?
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, all of these things that Sara says. And, yeah, tick, everything ticked the box. But yeah, and I think for me, it was reading the character. I think it always starts with character for me. And the idea of playing such a complex sort of social operator who has this incredibly ruthless side, but also has this compassionate side, and it so multifaceted, and how he's sort of playing, he's spinning about 10 plates at the same time and constantly having to fix things, putting out fires, and incredibly stressful life he has. So I think that was it for me, and the idea of working with Roland and doing something about ancient Rome, and it was all very exciting. Great script.
Yeah, well, obviously this show is centered around Rome, but it does feel like there are some thematic elements that are similar to Game of Thrones. So Ewan, I'm curious how you would compare the two shows.
Well, there's no dragons in our one.
There's no dragons.
I think the difference, this is based on history. This is historical, whereas Game of Thrones, I guess, is, you could argue, based on history, but a lot of different histories that have been amalgamated and put together and sort of in a patchwork way, and adding a fantasy element and all of this stuff. So I think that's very, very different. Yeah, it's a very ruthless world, I suppose, very similar to Game of Thrones. It's about dynastic struggles and high politics. But I think what you see in this show, which is very different, obviously it's very based around sport and the spectacle of the chariot racing and the gladiatorial battles, and more of a sort of a cross-section of Roman society in the year 79. So you kind of I think it's very different in that sense. You're getting thrown into a world which is probably a lot more familiar to most people, because everyone knows something about the Roman Empire, but you get to see this wonderful detail of how every element of that society works in that time, from the emperor down to the street kids. I think that's with this crime boss in the middle who's trying to do everything and trying to pull all the strings. It's very, very fascinating, hopefully, for the audience.
All right, it looks like that is about my time today, but thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you.
Anything can happen. Even plebeians like us might rule this city.